Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Just Saying Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host, Sean Gannon, alongside my partner, Jack McNicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. If you don't have the chance, go check out our website, justsayingfootball.com, and follow us on Instagram at Just Saying No G WJS for article and video updates, as well as Spotify.
Yeah.
We're on podcast form. Let's get you in your ears. You can listen to us all the time when you're working out.
Heck yeah.
Whatever it is that you're doing. Going on the train, going to work, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Spotify. Check us out. Hit that bell. Remember to always make sure to comment on Just Saying No G WJS on Instagram for anything you'd like to see in these videos and all your article video updates. Thanks for joining us. It's week 10, Sean.
It is week 10. And
we can't buy it pretty fast. I say that every week, but week 10 makes it feel a little real. Now we are officially at that midway point in the season we're second half of the season now.
That double digit kind of weeks, you know what I mean? The 10s, 11s, 12s, now 18. But we got some news from Schefter. A fun fact at this midway point that you're discussing. Average final score of margin has been 9.43 points this season. That's been the lowest through week 9 since 1970. So fantasy scorers out there, fantasy owners out there, don't worry why your team is doing so poorly. It's a league-wide thing. Yeah,
and everybody betting, wondering why their overs aren't hitting, why they don't have big spreads, all these things. It's really because it's really come down in 72 games right now. It's decided by 7 points or fewer. That is just unbelievable to me. Just goes to show how many comebacks have come up in the last 9 weeks, how many times we've had surprise picks come up. So things like that, you start to really get it down the line now. You start to really feel that effect.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely very weird. And speaking of close games, let's head into this Thursday night football match in week 10 when the Atlanta Falcons make their way to Carolina to take on the Panthers. 44.5 point over-under on this one. Atlanta favored by -3, going right back into that 7 points or less that we were just discussing. What are your thoughts going into this NFC South showdown?
Yeah, Atlanta on the road, but, right now they're tied for first when it comes to the NFC South division. They are tied at 4-5 with the Bucs for first. Yep. Panthers struggling. They're 2-7. They have not looked great last week. Obviously, Joe Mixon basically destroyed every, piece of happiness from this team I'm trying to put. They gave up 5 touchdowns to him, 4 in the first half. The Carolina Panthers defense last week looked like it wasn't able to do anything. But, we just saw these teams have quite a shootout a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that definitely was a shootout. But for Carolina right now, they have a lot going on between what you're talking about. The 5 touchdowns, bad defense play, the poor offensive play. Yes, they got a few touchdowns from Baker Mayfield. In the second half, it was mainly during garbage time.
Yeah.
Then they fired cornerbacks coach Evans Cooper, then their defensive line coach, Paul Pasqualoni, I believe that's pronounced. It's just not what you want right now, especially with an interim coach making all these decisions. They already fired their head coach. Sam Darnold's been activated. Now they have this weird quarterback room. They have a first overall pick, a third overall pick. PJ Walker, who people really like, who just had the bad game. Just not what you want to see from Carolina right now. I think it's hard to keep pounding, as I like to say, considering that it feels like they've just kind of given up.
Yeah, it's like when they keep losing, it's hard to keep pounding. But the fact is really this is a team they're familiar with. We always talk about how these NFC South games are so dangerous because they're really familiar, these teams. Despite, maybe a lot of personnel changes or roster changes, there's always continuous rivalries in the NFC South. So I do feel like it's going to be like we saw in week 8. It was a 37-34 victory. If anyone remembers, we were talking about that a couple weeks ago. DJ Moore's celebration at the end of the game during the walk-off caused them to miss the field goal, sends it to overtime. Atlanta winds up winning. How are you feeling about Atlanta's offense this week? I feel like we have a different story for them every week, but as, Patterson's back. People are saying Drake London's trending down. How do you feel about Atlanta as a whole unit? Whether, even though they should be the better team in this game, it's, not the best team.
I think it's going to go through this, how well they can run the ball. Last week, Cordell Patterson was fantastic. Ran through someone. Same with Tyler Algier.
Yeah.
I always butcher his name. I'm so sorry. 10 for 99 on the ground. Patterson, 13 for 44 and 2 touchdowns. That's when they're at their best, I think. They got to find the passing game a little bit more. Obviously, when Khalil Mack is ripping the ball out of your hands and you're a rookie and you're in the league, probably going to fumble the ball, so that's okay, Drake London. Do not worry about that.
Yeah.
You live and learn, you play for the next down for sure.
Very good point.
I like Atlanta in this one, despite their inconsistency at offense. At least they've shown that they've been able to win games, and their defense can step up at times. With Carolina, there's just so much going on in-house, so much going on off the field. Their quarterback room is so weird to me. They traded away arguably their best player on the team. Unless you prefer, a little bit of Brian Burns action they decided to save. But just so much going on with Carolina. I don't know what kind of team we're going to get. I don't have a lot of confidence in this one to win the game. While I do think you're right. There is a lot of familiarity, and that will keep this game close. So I get the -3 spread in that one. I just can't see them winning this game.
Yeah, and for teams that just played 2 weeks ago and they just had a 67-point game, you'd be shocked that they're at 44.5.
No.
I do think it is a lower scoring game. I do think Atlanta wins this by 3, but I think it's a lower scoring game just because both of these teams are not teams that jump out like, oh, they'll be prepared for a short week of football.
Yeah, that's a huge thing.
This seems like it's going to be very limited playbooks, very limited schemes. I see, one of these defenses maybe making a play that separates it. But Carolina has been really struggling despite the fact, like Sean said, there's a lot to like about their defense. The offensive side of the ball killed them last week. I mean, looking at P.J. Walker's stat line, you think it's a literal typo last week.
I mean, 3 for 10, 9 yards, and 2 interceptions. Like, that sounds like it's a Madden game.
It's a rage quit right there.
Yeah.
It's a Madden game.
That is a rage quit and a half, my friend. I mean,
all respect again. We respect the heck out of PJ Walker. We talk about it all the
dude.
time.
He's starting this week,
but he was set up to fail last week in that
Absolutely.
game. That's what that tells me in the sense that 9 yards that the coaching staff didn't want to call the right plays. You're only giving this guy 10, opportunities. I understand there's 2 interceptions there, but they were getting destroyed last week.
Yeah, it was just not their game at all. They couldn't get anything started. I'm sure they want to flip that a little bit. I don't think it will be a blowout to any degree for Atlanta, but that was just really, really hard to see Panthers fans out there.
Yeah. What I like about Atlanta, though, more is now, like you were talking about CMC being gone, there's no identity to the Panthers offense. What I do like is also what you mentioned is there were 23 carries and almost 150 yards between the 2 running backs for Atlanta. So that's their key, right? Just running the ball, getting it done. Arthur
Hopefully
Smith
Kyle Pitts can get going, maybe get another touchdown right now.
Hopefully. We always pray for that anytime Kyle Pitts touchdown. It's coming.
I love the man. He's so fast for a tight end. He should have so many more receiving yards. It will maybe get going soon. I mean, they could potentially... Seattle gets a win this weekend in Germany against Tampa Bay. Yes, in Germany. You heard that correct. All of a sudden... If Atlanta gets a win, they're 5-5, and Tampa Bay drops to 4-6. Atlanta slides into the playoffs.
Things are looking a little scary in Tampa Bay.
So there's a lot right now for Atlanta. I think they have a playoff spot right now they're playing for. I would money line Atlanta. Let's problem with that. No problem with that. And that's all the time we have.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, enjoy that Week 10 NFC South matchup. It's another great Thursday night game. I'll tell you that. But always make sure we're covering it. Just Saying Football on YouTube and Spotify. Remember to check us out, follow there, give us a comment if you got anything you'd love to see. And we also got the Sunday Superflex as well, coming out Friday, 12 o'clock. Week 10, going to be a good one. Remember, always check us out for all your updates. Just Saying, no GWJS on Instagram.
Enjoy.